lucky one. Actually, not lucky. Most survivors I know feel guilty that they survived. They feel that they should have been, their parents should have survived and they should have been the sacrifice. So there's a guilt feeling of having survived. I was also being chased by Christian boys for having killed Christ. That was a constant theme, killer of Christ. My name was not what it is today, I changed it. My name was Jewish, good blood. You can't escape that. The war, and I've spoken to other survivors, you're always hoping for someone to come and get you. Your mother, or your father, someone. So you're always waiting for something to happen. It's one of the consequences of the war for me is my whole life since then has been devoted to reading and learning. To this day, I'm learning. I'm studying Python, the computer language. JavaScript, I'm learning that. The heck with it, but I'm learning it. I'm studying new tools of statistics, my profession. I'm just reading all the time. Making up for these 5 years. And I can't write very well because I never had composition. No. The only acquaintance I made was shot in the farm I was in, called La Chambre. There was another farm called Le Petit Brin. And there was a Jewish boy there that was older than me. And I met him once or twice. What happened to him, he was older than me, 2 or 3 years. He was denounced by somebody. And the way I found out this is the son of the farmer lived, I located the son of the farmer by the name of Maslag, Polish man. And he told me what he remembers of that incident. A Nazi patrol had pulled up to the farm, then lined up all the family with machine guns and told the farmers, "Where's the Jewish boy?" The farmer had no choice and he called down to the seller, Chaim. And the Jewish boy came down. Maslag told me this 20 years later, 30 years later. The Nazi told him to run and they shot him in the back, a little boy. What happened is, several days later, the Polish lady I was with was very poor. And so we would go in the fields to collect wheat after the wheat harvest. And we found his body. He actually was laying there dead.
If you could go back, is there anything that you would do differently?
I'd commit suicide after the war. I mean it. Don't get upset, you know. Suicide is a strong tendency among people that went through that. A lot of survivors, some prominent survivors who became authors committed suicide. I thought of that, you know. If I had stopped it then, I would have bypassed all the consequences and all that stuff. I've thought of that. You know. I'm sorry. I didn't do it.
Thankfully.
I had no faith. I really no longer believed in Yahweh. But just simply. And then I began studying theoretically the Bible. So no, I'm a cultural Jew. I paid the price for being a Jew. And if I were younger, I would fight for it in Israel with the Jews. But I'm not a religious Jew.
So do you feel that the Holocaust is why you're not religious and why you don't have any faith?
Yeah. Yeah, at the age of 12, I used to pray for my father or mother, and nothing ever happened. I simply gave up at that age.
Did you see your family again?
What?
Did you see your family again?
Yes. My father escaped. He was one of the few people to escape from the camp called Douadik. And my mother was hidden, but the family was no longer a family. You know, when I saw my father, I used the plural form, vous, instead of thee or thou. There's not one day of my life has gone by that I have not thought of the war. It's tragic, it's idiotic, but that's the fact. I mean, I can say that I think of the war, all I need is a little trigger. I could go travel, and so I would go to Europe 6 times. I went back, and each time I would do something else. It was never a pleasure trip. Now, the farm I was hidden at, the farm, I've gone back many times, and I sit on a stone and I cry. Just brings back memories. I've gone back to Israel to look at the place, the yeshiva I studied at. I've never given up. I'm living in the past. I'm not really a good example of someone who's made it. Yes, I made it professionally, a professor and all that, but emotionally I didn't make it. Sorry to say. Self-image is low. I know it's funny. PhD, low self-image, yes, you know. I do volunteer work to boost myself up. I worked with the Navajos as a volunteer because I feel kinship with them, especially those that were kidnapped and sent to religious schools. They call it the rape of the soul. I do things to boost, to feel better. For a while I hit the bottle, I drank, but I gave it up. Didn't feel good, headaches. So I don't smoke grass.